In the world of fantasy, sometimes having a little bit of pizzazz to your plunder can make all the difference in becoming a hero. I mean, it's the common anime protagonist problem here. The main protagonist, most of the time, is the one unique gem among the rest. But the real question is, can the same be said about another game within the simulation genre, Swag and Sorcery? The game releases on May 9th on Steam from the creators of Punch Club and Graveyard Keeper, and normally costs $12.99, but has a 25% discount for the first week. But before I begin this critical eye review, this key was obtained from the publisher TinyBuild for the purposes of review. That won't change my opinion of the game in the end, but you should know that because of FTC guidelines, as well as the whole morals thing, you know? This is the world of Swag and Sorcery, and this is my village that I've built from the ground up. We started with only a guild at the start of the game, but as you go on, you build new buildings, get new heroes, so on and so forth, what you would expect out of a simulation game like this. Now this is after about, I want to say 6 to 8 hours. I'm not exactly sure where in those 6 to 8 hours were active gameplay. It says 11 on the save file, but I know that I had the game alt-tabbed for a bit after some problems on Friday in terms of personal life. So what do you do in the world of Swag and Sorcery, you may ask? Well, you defeat baddies, and in particular, the big baddies, such as the Nameless. Now, this is one of the big bosses of the game and is along the main quest line, which is I'm working towards right now. Now, of course, you do get side quests such as crafting blouses. This person wants some blouses, the King's Guard are coming, and so he wants 3 moon blouses. He'll give me a very rare amulet in exchange for them, and that's part of the economy of the game. People are going to want items, you're going to need to get it to them, as well as things like gold for just giving them gourd supports. Gold is important. Gold is how you level up in this game. Not through experience in terms of battle, it's all through gold, and that's going to play a huge part into some of the decisions that you will make later on. Now, of course, in order to be able to buy these things and to upgrade the equipment for your adventurers, you're going to need to get some resources, and you do that by sending your adventurers out to gather them. We've got a couple of places we can go. We can go to the magical forest, we can go to the battlefield, but I'm going to start with the hot springs because that's closer to the level that my characters are at, or somewhat. You'll notice that it recommends level 24 to 50, but I believe that is for one character alone. You'll notice that I've got 3 here. So, you may be asking yourself, okay, so this is an action RPG where you slash and use your mouse to click on things to take them out, or it's a tactical RPG where I make a choice in terms of which spell to use and things like that. Not at all. In fact, you just watch. That's right, the characters that you equip them with certain items, certain equipment, certain playstyles. You just sit back and watch. Mostly. I can get involved with spells later on in the game once you unlock it, but most of the stuff is going to be done by these guys automatically. In fact, I can just go right back to town and continue to do things and not watch them. But there's a downside to that. You'll notice in the top corner here, there are the items that I'm gathering from these guys. Those items are what I'm going to use to upgrade equipment in the town, or, be able to complete those quests. At a certain point, your heroes are going to probably fall over. They're going to run into an enemy that they can't deal with, and in order to save an item that you really, really need, like let's say a recipe, you may need to retreat. The thing is that if you die in the middle of these battles, all your characters, well, you're not going to get anything. But if you escape, you can at least save what's in this bag, which can be important in the mid-game because you will run across level barriers that, you won't be able to get through some of these heroes. Like, my hero just fell there, and maybe some of them just can't deal with what is in front of them at this point. But lo and behold, I got some results from this. My guys have a victory, even though one of them fell down. I get all this equipment, and I get a little bit further in the level. See, the big baddie is at the end of the level. So I want to make my way through the forest, make my way through the place that I'm getting to, and every time that I succeed and get to the end, that percentage bar will go up. If I retreat, though, it will go down. Now, of course, going on missions isn't as easy as just sending your guys out. You have to prepare them, and in order to do that, you have a couple of ways that you can go about it. First of all, you could always just level up your guys, but it's not done through experience. It's done through gold. So if I wanted to upgrade Aiden here, I just gotta pay 3,000 to have someone train him. Now he's a little stronger. In fact, I can upgrade specific attributes if I wanted. For example, I know Kazuki is my agility-based character, so if I wanted to make her a little bit more agile, I just pay a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, to the point where you could really put a lot of stats in this portion, and it's almost a little bit, I don't want to say broken, but it can get to a point where your guys are really powerful in one stat, and this is how you customize characters to an extent, but it feels a little bit overpowered for what you're paying in this portion. Leveling is one way of doing it, but there is another way to improve your characters, and that's through equipment. And luckily, I have the perfect quest to show you guys. See, I'm going to be rewarded with a skill for this guy if I give him Ladybug's Paws. And luckily, his equipment, he needs that Ladybug's Paws in his ankle region or his legs region because he doesn't exactly have the best equipment there. So it's the perfect thing to make. So let's go and make it. Alright, so we got, I know it's in here. Alright, level 14, probably a big improvement. It's purple, so it's a little bit more rare than green, blue, and gray. But not as rare, I believe, as orange. They don't necessarily specify what's rarer, purple or orange. Regardless, it looks like I need a little bit more. And I do like the fact that it tells you where it's crafted or where it comes from. So I need to go to the smithy to get a little bit more of the titanium ignot. All right. Titanium ignot. But here's the thing. I'll make all of them, but it's not actually creating them. Well, that's because a hero creates them. And in particular, there are particular heroes that are better for certain assignments. And you can see that through the efficiency system. For example, people who are making things at the smithy are gonna want strength. So, who's my strongest character? It's probably Mona. Let's see, 67. Oh, no, it may be Aiden. 70, 80? Which is funny because he's a mage. All right, it looks like Aiden's gonna do it. So, Aiden, come on down. Actually, Aiden, come on down. He has a 37% chance of creating high-quality items. Now, for base consumables, that seems to be that there's a better chance of creating double of what he actually creates. So we'll wait a little bit of time here in order to see what items are created from this. But I do like this craft system, and in particular, high-quality items can come from weapons too. Even though a weapon is blue, it has a chance to become a purple or an orange based on who is crafting it, and that does give you reasons to try crafts over and over again, not just for the specific stats, but for rarer items. But I'll get to exactly how that sort of downgrades itself in a little bit. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you only made 8. That's fine, though. But now I should be able to create my Ladybug's Paws. But who should make them? Well, magic is the key item here, so let's see. 85, or specifically intelligence. 85 for Noel. Aiden's still the big kahuna here with 99. All right, so it looks like Aiden's going to do it. So, Aiden, sorry, but you're going to do this too. So we'll make our Ladybug's Paws, and we'll hope for the best. Hopefully it's a little bit rarer. Hopefully it has the stats that I need. Hopefully we'll just hope. We just need the hope, don't we? All right, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, didn't make a better version of it, but that's fine. And I complete the quest. Great. Wonderful. But let's see if Noelle can actually use it. 28 physical damage, plus 5 stamina. Not necessarily great for a mage. Plus 24 damage resistance and more ice damage. Alright, well, does he do ice damage? Not really, but it is giving me a little bit more damage here, and it is colored, which will actually play a part later on. So you know what? I'm gonna give it to him. Oh. I can't. I needed the stat boost from the stamina in order to be able to equip this guy. Well, okay, no, that's fine. You know what we can do? We'll just increase his stamina. That is the nice thing about that system, is that when you're a little bit close or you just need that little boost in order to increase somebody's stats, that, well, you can do it and you don't have to throw away an entire item or wait for a period of time. If you have the gold, of course. Now, I do like that system, but it leads into something else that I really need to talk about. So let's make another weapon here. Let's look at Mona, because she's our sort of tank of the group, and she's running a level 5 weapon. Not necessarily the greatest in terms of where she is at level 18. So we had Kazuki here create some needed material in the background, and let us create a Trident of Power with our strongest character, who so happens to be our mage, but don't mind that. Now, what could I be alluding to in terms of the downside of this? Well, weapon rarity and levels sometimes don't mean jack shit. Oh, hey, look, even though it was a blue item, I created a purple one, level 18. Great, that means it should be a straight, huge upgrade for her. Oh, it is an upgrade. But wait a minute, so little defense? Why am I getting so much damage, but so little defense is being removed on what should be a superior weapon? Well, look at the Forged Spear itself. Notice the plus 26 strength. At the time, you need 24 strength in order to wield the spear. That means, at minimum, you are doubling, or I should say maximum. At maximum, you are doubling your stat. And it's one of my biggest criticisms of the game, is the fact that the ranges in which levels and stats allow for boost don't seem to be reasonably balanced. Sometimes you can have a gray item that's the best item you have for 20 levels, and it's not a preference thing. It's literally the best item you can get. And with the cost of some of these weapons in question, in terms of the resources, that means you can just be very, very unlucky and not get a weapon that you can use for a long, long time. I'm guessing that my other strength guy here, yeah, it's an improvement. He might as well take this weapon even though he had a blue weapon from before, because it's just that much stronger for him. And I don't understand why there isn't a better balance between the level of the item and what stats it gives. Now, I will balance that criticism with the fact that there are some very unique skills in the game, and some of them may be hard to balance in the first go-around without a lot of data. Take Aiden, for example. He's got a shirt that has a 29% chance at the beginning of the character's move to heal the whole party by 21 points. That's a very unique skill and not one that I see in a lot of other games. Or how about every time a character hits an enemy, the player gets 22 gold? I mean, if you're trying to level up your guys, this is the kind of weapon you want. And so, with skills like that out there, you can really customize the character the way you want if you get lucky with those skill sets. And I really do appreciate the fact that I could make a gold experience hog in terms of just trying to gather stuff. It's just gonna take a while, because unfortunately, here is another downside. Let's take a look at what I need for, let's say, Hoshi. He needs a new helmet. I mean, level 5, yeah, plus agility, plus strength. He doesn't really need agility. He's a warrior type. So let's see if I can get him a new helmet. All right, how about the false crown? All right, I need 6 cursed ignots. All right, I'm gonna need a bunch of titanium ignots and slime. So let's go and send our guys out and try to get some more slime. Okay, there we go. So the swamp slime, but that doesn't necessarily have the ignots I need here. So I'll send 2 teams out. I'll send one to go to the swamp and get some slime, and I will send the other guys out to try to get some platinum. Now, the problem that generates itself from here is the fact that, notice how I just got a slime there. Great, wonderful. But how many slime did I need? 2 times 6 is what I need for the false crown. That's 12. If I don't run across slimes repeatedly, and if they don't drop the item, it could take 8, 10, 12 times before I get enough slimes. And the big issue here is that by the time you're able to get that, you may be so far in the level that you are having trouble fighting those enemies in question. See, as you go along the percentage bar for that level in terms of being able to get further and further to get to that boss, enemies get stronger. But you'll hit a certain point where it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to retreat and get one item at a time, and that's going to take a long while. I really wish that this game had some store that was able to trade excess items of other things that you don't want in exchange for maybe one item that you really need. That would have really helped this game in terms of the specialization portion, because usually I end up just crafting whatever is available because there's so many options here that trying to plan can be a huge problem. In addition to that, what I don't like is that many games like this have a way to highlight what you really, really want. Like if I wanted to get a false crown, I would have a way to favorite it or mark it in such a way that it would bring up the resources that I need to farm. There is no way in this game to do that via this UI. You keep on having to go back into this, find the item in question, and hopefully it's an item that is towards the top, because if it's in the middle, well, good luck. It just sucks because there's so many characters with so many different skills and so many things that you want to do that you'll just get lost. You'll get hopelessly lost, and unfortunately that can be frustrating. There are of course other things to do. The happiness system, which means better buffs for your guys or maybe better equipment can be made, is handled by the spa. Or you can add temporary buffs via the church in order to get past certain things. But the most unique aspect is the competitions. See, our characters aren't exactly your typical adventurers. Aiden here, for example, is running an interesting combination of a scarecrow shirt, a fission spear, a nice little graduation cap, and some master shoes. But Mona here is wearing a barrel with a pitchfork but has a tiara. And all those play into the fashion system, very similar to the beauty system within the Pokemon games. There are competitions that you show off your swagger, and they have certain themes. So couples are in fashion. The trendy color is the whole rainbow. So I want people who, well, fit what the judges are going to want. Blue, green, and red? Okay, that's a little better. That's a little okay, but that's not the whole rainbow. Blue, no, plain is not going to do it there. Okay. No. What about her? Okay, pink, purple, red, yellow. That's a good combination. What about Hoshi here? Oh, he has a rainbow. So he is probably one of my best options. But I want to make sure that I do well in this competition. And so I can bribe the judges. With equipment, of course. We got a general, an executioner, and a king who definitely likes swag. So let's give the executioner a woodcutter's helmet. Maybe we'll get some more information. He wants plain stuff, and he wants grunge type of style, but he hates metal. So I can change my guys here. Well, we got some guys with grunge, and he likes plain, so that's really gonna do well with Hoshi here, but metal. Oh, well, that's acceptable, but maybe not necessarily for her. So maybe let's take her out and put somebody else in. Well, nope, she's got a bunch of metal. he's all right, but he also has plain and doesn't have grunge. So, okay, better option. And that's what you got to understand. Each of these judges are going to score based on their wants. The general here is not going to accept any of my gifts, and thus I'm going to hate him. But each of these judges have their own wants and taste and will score you appropriately. But let's just try it. Let's just see what happens. These competitions can have really big effects. Like, it can get you a lot of stuff. 2, 3, and 1. That didn't do so well with our mage here. What about Hoshi? No, that didn't do so well either. Maybe our warrior? Ooh, they liked our warrior. And so she got a pretty decent score. And hopefully that will play a part in getting me more items, because that's one other way of doing it. This is the weird balance this game has, because unfortunately, you have to take the look into account. Like, I can buy this actor's beret and I can try to create it, but it may not be the best item for me in terms of battle, but it may be huge in terms of the fashion portion. Now, I will say, on the opposite side of that, one of the things I hate about this game is the fact that you don't necessarily know what you're creating. Like, this actor's beret, I can probably guess that it's swag. I could probably guess that it'll probably have white in it, or metal, or leather, or something like that, but I don't know. And I also don't know entirely what skills it's gonna give me. So there's a lot of guesswork, a lot of hope that I create the right thing. And unfortunately, most of the time you're going to end up with a lot of stuff that you aren't going to use. Mona took second place. 400 gold, not bad. Morph skin. Morph skin is pretty important, so titanium and some resinous grass. Awesome. And reputation. Reputation means there are better fashionable contests in the game. To me, the fashion system in the game makes it stand out from other simulation games in the battle system portion in couple with that. And I really enjoy it. In fact, it's probably the best feature in the game in my opinion, because you can get some really interesting looks. You can get, actors' sweaters, you got some Duke's boots, I'm assuming that is Duke Nukem. You can get a solid iron helmet or a rune helmet. Obviously, I would go with the rune helmet, but it may not be the best for the judges in question. Now, there is, unfortunately, a problem here that develops. See, those gifts that I gave them? That's stuff I created. That stuff is created via resources that are sometimes hard to get. Unfortunately, the way you get gold in this game is also through selling equipment that you create. So now you got to figure out, wait a minute, do I sell the equipment and try to experience my guys up, or do I go and try to get better swag at the shop? You'd think that, that's variety. That's a great option in terms of having to choose one through the other. It doesn't feel like that at times. It feels like you are sort of stuck behind a counter that you don't necessarily want to be at. Now, I focused a lot on the gameplay, but the presentation is rather nice, at least for a simulator type game. It does a very good job in pushing forward the unique character elements, the whole fashion element towards it. And yes, the animations are a little bit pixely, but it does the job. The sound design is there in terms of UI, in terms of giving you prompts that give you reasonable feedback if you're not necessarily paying as much visual attention that you really should be. And the music does do a good job of relaxing you into the simulation type gameplay. But when it all comes down to it, it's all about the gameplay when it comes to simulation games like this. And that's where I'm torn. Yes, there are a lot of problems with the game in terms of things that are missing, tools that could have helped make things a little bit easier in terms of finding what specifically to craft. That there is an element of luck in the game that feels a little bit too much in terms of its effects. The fact is, if you get an unlucky streak, you could be ending up doing a level over and over again because you just didn't get the equipment that would really improve your character, and at least in any significant way. You could get really lucky with one item giving you a huge buff that you are overpowered and not needing to pay attention as much to the gameplay in question. But I had fun, and that's the funny part about this. Even with all those frustrations, even with the fact that there are things that I could point to and say, yeah, that could be a lot better, I still enjoyed myself. I still enjoyed the world that was created here, trying to please judges, trying to please, my characters in terms of what they needed in terms of builds. You really feel like a guild master more than anything else, and I think that's what the game was trying to go for. Realizing that, yeah, you need a little bit of reputation, a little bit of pizzazz in order to get more people to your guild. And in that essence, the game did its job. But I can see it not working for everyone. And thank God for my enhancer system, because if I had to rate this game without being able to improve certain elements based on different playstyles, I would have a really hard time struggling to find the right score. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I could see a lot of people who wouldn't enjoy it because of the way the game plays. The game is definitely a mixture of very good positives and very strong negatives in terms of implementation, design, and gameplay. But overall, if I have to give a score based off the first 12 hours of gameplay, the game scores a 70 out of 100, making it a niche genre buy for those who love the genre, but for others, you'll want to wait for a sale. Now, that does not include my enhancer system, which takes more subjective elements in games, personal preferences, things that may irritate a certain subsection of players, and adds or subtracts to the main score to find out where the game lies in buyability for you. Now, if you strongly fall into one of the following categories, and yes, I realize there's a lot of them, add or subtract that score to the main score. If the first digit of your score changes, then look at this chart to understand where the buyability is for you. Like I said, even for people who love simulation games or don't necessarily like simulation games as a whole, this is a little bit different in the genre, at least in the simulation portion. And I could see certain people who hate games like this actually liking swag and sorcery, and vice versa. So, this is what the system of my enhancer system was designed for. Try to find those players who really like certain things and find them the best game for them. Coming up next on the channel, based off the poll that was done a couple of days ago based on this video, I will be focusing on Zanki Zero, a full review. Realize that it's going to take me time. There will still be streams of indie games that I will bring up so that people can get a little bit of information on, but I will put my full effort into that while still improving my skills for job search as well as personal life things. So when it comes to full reviews, it may take a while, but I hope you guys stick around. Anyway, leave your comments in the comment section below and join the Discord. I have a couple of ideas to try to help me in terms of the content on this channel while still looking at my job search in particular, and I may need your help. So join that Discord below, or don't, whatever. And if you want to help this channel, just comment on the video, say what I can improve, say what you liked and what you disliked about the review in question. Anyway, this is Dragnix signing out, and as always, keep on gaming.